George Royalty Reed, and number 23, Ron the Little General Lancaster. You just can't go wrong. No, but I always say that. That's not new. And I'm trying to keep, well, this is sports focused. I'm trying to keep it on today's games and the news of the day. But I've always said, especially when this era came where your players changed teams every year, either buy your name bar in Velcro or get retro. Because my favorite Rough Rider of all time is Jeff Fairholm. He knows that. And the last time I went and got a Rough Riders jersey, it was Jeff Fairholm because I knew he wasn't going to be traded anywhere. He's my favorite rider of all time. So, yeah, I don't know why anybody would buy a jersey of their favorite player now. What's the last jersey you bought, Darren?
I don't buy jerseys. It's been a long time since I bought a jersey. Like to the point where I can't remember the last jersey I bought. I'm just not a jersey guy. I don't wear them. I don't buy them.
You're smart enough. I don't wear them, yet I buy them. That's how stupid I am. I dropped a cool $200 US on one of these baby blue Panthers jerseys. No, I didn't pay $200 for the bobblehead. For the jersey, I paid $200. I put it on the set of our Cats and Bolts podcast. Everybody, I apologize that I'm taking a total off-ramp to Storytown here, but people were up my ass about that. They're like, you got ripped off. That's a Chinese knockoff jersey. I'm like, I don't care. I wanted it. The guy was charging $200. You can't find those jerseys anywhere. So that's the last one. I don't think I've ever had it on. I put it on the set of the Cats and Bolts podcast, paid $200 US for it, and Bob's your uncle.
Do you like it?
Of the Cats and
Does
Bolts
it bring you joy?
I love it. It brings me so much joy
worth it.
every time I look at it.
Get ready for the Rod Pedersen Show.
Hashtag dad advice from Jim Pedersen, my dad, who said, cheer as loud as you want for your own team. Don't ever boo the other team. Don't ever boo the other team. And to boo your own team? Unthinkable. In the world of James William Pedersen. So, A, I would never do it. B, with the cost of those things? Are you kidding me?
This is the Rod Pedersen Show.
Hey, that's just dad advice from mine. James William Pedersen, you do whatever you do, you. Welcome, everybody. I hope you're ready to have some fun because I know I am on the RP Show here, episode number 1395 of Canada's daytime sports talk show in 32 U.S. states, peeking in. I'm here. Moose is there. Let's bring him in. I apologize if this is blowing anybody's minds. I just saw over my shoulder. Our microphone is from yesterday's appearance from the Motor City Madmouse. Scott Morganroth is peeking behind the bookcase here, Darren. I'm sure you noticed. I'll move that as the show goes along. But we got a lot of fun planned today. What's up with you, man? What's going on? You're in Toronto, I understand.
Why would you move it? I don't think it looks fine. It looks good. Let it sit.
It's
there.
okay.
No big deal.
I
life
feel
is
like
good
you're
here.
a little leaner, cleaner, lighter, tighter. Anyways, continue.
Yeah, no, all good. Life is good here. Things are good. It's the holiday season, but you know what? I must say, I miss the snow. It's all gone here. I wish we had a little bit more snow, but other than that, life is good. Nothing to complain about.
Well, you can always head to Western Canada. They got plenty there if you've noticed. Tuna Turner is directing the program today. Tuna or producing, I'm not sure, but whoever's that, can you hit the quick 601? I think it's Tuna. Yeah, he's doing both. That guy can do it all. Yeah, I'm a little bit traumatized. I was in a mild fender bender this morning. Nothing serious. It's all covered, but it's just car accidents aren't a great thing. I talked to my spiritual coach this morning. Actually, I sent him a message, Alan Kaler. You know Alan, because he says car accidents are a sign. They're a symbol from the universe. So I texted Alan. I said, you want to tell me what this one's all about, Al? You want to tell me? It was nothing like the one you and I were in the hills of Drumheller, Garrett. Nothing like that. You thought you were going to die, didn't you? I saw it in your eyes. You thought you were going to die that day.
I thought it was over, man. Thought it was over.
So did I. Yeah, so this was nothing. Not even a scratch on either one of us. Okay. I'm not going to ask you, Tuna Turner, to hit the horn again because you did already and you're running the whole thing yourself. So this is what we do, everybody. We got far more time for Moose and I to get into the topics of the day. We call it the Quick Six Show topics, and it's going really well. The program's going really well. I'm getting messages from all over North America how much people enjoy this show. So sit tight. Let us entertain you like the Dallas Cowboys didn't do last night. Our opening point is this. Joe Burrow threw a tie-breaking 40-yard touchdown pass to Jamar Chase, of course, after Dallas botched a block punt on Monday Night Football, giving the ball back to the Bengals in a tied game in the final 2 minutes. Bengals went down the field and scored on that Chase touchdown. They won 27-20 in the NFL Monday Nighter. With 1:01 to go, they won it. The Bengals improved to 5-8. The Cowboys fall to 5-8. Tuna Turner is a Cowboys fan like me. If we're admitting to that, I asked Tuna his thoughts. He goes, I didn't even watch. I'm like, well, it was the only game. It was prime time. I, like the sadistic bastard that I am, I watched Aaron, and Amani Oriori, if I said his name properly, is the one that botched the block punt. They're bringing up the Leon Lett incident from 1993, which was Thanksgiving week, eerily close on the calendar to botching another game. And by the way, I was listening this morning to Mike Florio, as I always do on Pro Football Talk, and he said he was shocked that Micah Parsons addressed the media after the game because the star Dallas linebacker usually doesn't, I guess. I mean, I don't really know, but he has his own podcast, and that's where he addresses issues. But I want to get this to you, Darren. After the game, Micah Parsons said, I don't know if it's bad luck, karma, or what. We definitely have the talent. Think about this for a second. The point spread was Bengals by 5.5, and I'm numb to it. I didn't even know what to think. Bengals by 5.5. They covered and won by 7. You going to tell me the odds makers knew the Cowboys punt return team was going to blow this? They knew, because they did. It's exactly what happened. And I think it is a karma thing. I think it's a karma thing. What was your take on how this went down?
Yeah, that's just a gut punch, another tough way to lose. And, Dallas, give their defense, some credit for keeping them in that football game and limiting Joe Burrow and that Bengals offense, because all season Joe Burrow has been great. That offense has been great, and it's been the Bengals defense that's been really bad. But they stayed in the game, and even in that fourth quarter, there was chances on both sides. You thought, okay, here Joe's going to come out and lead them on a touchdown drive on this charge, and they're going to take the lead, and they're not going to look back. And they didn't do it. Dallas gets the ball back. They don't do anything. They went back and forth, and neither team really wanted to win the football game until that happens. And then boom, goes to Chase. He makes one move down the sideline, touchdown, and Dallas couldn't move the ball with under a minute to go. No chance. But just a tough game. And that's just how the Cowboys tend to lose games. They find new ways to lose.
There's so much rhetoric in politicking. It's like politics, but a little more fun in that people are now, look, the season's over for the Cowboys. It has been probably since Dak Prescott was hurt, probably over when they decided to bring Mike McCarthy back in the offseason, to be honest with you. But just this, for those in the Cowboys nation, we all know this. There's a lot of Cowboys fans that watch this show. They tell me that. But now the politicking's begun, Darren. And I can't remember which pundit said what, because we all watch so much coverage, but it was like, my take is this. If Micah Parsons says we're good enough, which they are, who do you blame? If you have a good, talented team that can't win. For 50 points, Darren, who pays the price in that case?
It's the coach.
Tell me.
Got to be the coach.
Yes. Ding, 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 ding. Fellow buddies won, Tuna. But, and again, I can't remember who the pundit was, but in the last 12 hours, they said, well, maybe Mike McCarthy doesn't want to come back. Have we thought about that? Because he's on an expiring contract? Like you thought Dallas, the soap opera, which you didn't watch, you're not old enough, but J.R. Ewing, the whole thing, you thought that was drama. Nothing compared to the Dallas Cowboys. They're disgusting. They disgust me. And we're moving on to point two. All three, and all thanks, Tuna, all the other Cowboys fan in the conversation that's just, the soul has been crushed by this team again. All three NHL games on Monday night were decided by a goal, including two that went to a shootout. Patrik Laine had a goal and an assist in regulation time and scored the shootout winner as Montreal edged out the Anaheim Ducks 3-2 at the Centre Bell. In Buffalo, the Detroit Red Wings erased a 5-3 deficit in the third period and tripped the Sabres 6-5 in a shootout. And in New York City, the Chicago Blackhawks edged the Rangers 2-1 at Madison Square Garden. So those were the three games, all one-goal games. Far more fun to talk about than the Monday Nighter, as far as I'm concerned. And there's a lot of things coming out of just three games. Like, can Patrik Laine single-handedly save the Montreal Canadiens? Because it's looking like he can. Let's start there. That's a really fun story to watch.
So much fun. Patrik Laine has been one of the great stories in the National Hockey League this season. And I think when you look at it, he gets an opportunity to have a fresh start. And he's now, I'm seeing him in the media, answering a lot of questions. Seems like he's having fun. It's always fun when you're having success, and he is personally scoring goals and contributing. But it seems like he's having fun, and in one of the great hockey markets. And doesn't it just like feel coincidental? But Finnish star in Montreal, could he kind of come in and be like Saku Koivu was in Montreal for all those years? You know, ended up being the captain, fan favorite, leader, just synonymous with that team. And Patrik Laine could maybe come in and be the face of the Montreal Canadiens because they really need an identity. They got all these young players, Suzuki, and they've got Caulfield, and they've got Kirby Dach, and they got Montembeault in goal. But it just doesn't feel like they have an identity. And maybe Patrik Laine can help shape that as a leader on this team. I love it.
I welcome all the comments that are coming in from the audience. I want to remind them that this is me and Moose's time. I'll get to your comments as soon as I can, probably after this first break, but we're trying to rip through the quick six show topics here as well as we can, but as fast as we can. I will not forget my good friend Peanut Butter Pete, the pizza magnate to the stars, who said, "Hey, Rod, the opening 20 minutes of your show is better than SportsCenter. We get everything that we need." So I just want to say this about Patrik Laine. People are going to hear this, and it'll resonate. A lot of people won't hear it at all. And some will get it somewhere down the line. Everybody that knows Patrik Laine in the Winnipeg Jets media and Winnipeg people that know Patrik Laine, they all like him. He had to go for whatever reason. He was shipped to Columbus. Didn't work there. And he goes into the player assistance program, comes out a brand new man. And as you said, he's smiling and he's having fun. Here's the thing. He had issues. Maybe he was immature. When you go into the player assistance program, it's either mental health, could be substances. They don't know. They don't disclose it. But everybody thinks it's a bad thing when you go to get help. Look at him out now, right? So it's similar to my life. I had issues. People like me. I just had issues. I got him fixed. So I'm rooting for Patrik Laine, and I love that the Habs weren't willing to give up on him like a lot of other teams in the National Hockey League because he's a major talent. And I hope that he does save them. Now, maybe the New York Rangers should have looked into acquiring him from the Columbus Blue Jackets, because I know you want to spend some time on this. They lost again. Like getting rid of Jacob Trouba. I mean, put it in park for a second. We spent a minute on this. I don't really know what's going on in New York. I feel like calling Ron Duguay because he's hinting and tiptoeing around it. If you follow Ron Duguay, the great Ron Duguay, the Bon Jovi of hockey. If you follow him on social media, and I know you do, he's tiptoeing around really what a dysfunctional organization the New York Rangers are. And I think they fly under the radar in New York because the Jets and the Giants are worse. But let's not forget, I told you or reminded you that they went to the Eastern Conference Final last year against Florida. They were the President's Trophy winners last year, which I had to be reminded about this morning when I was doing some reading on it. Did you remember they had the best regular season record in the NHL last year? That does not speak to a dysfunctional team. Yet here they are languishing around the playoff line, and they just lost last night to a Chicago team that's the worst team in the NHL. Now, from what I understand, I didn't watch the game. I was watching my Cowboys on Monday Night Football, actually. But I guess Chicago played a really good game. Full stop. They shouldn't be winning at New York. So I'll just say the poll question today for our friends at EMJ Marketing. They'll provide the perfect keynote speaker for your event. Look up Joe at emjmarketing.com to book yours. The poll question is, will the New York Rangers make the playoffs? I'll tell you what, Darren, the way they're going, the answer is no. And I'm going to vote no. Can you imagine? President's Trophy one year, losing the next. Usually it goes, you win the President's Trophy, you get knocked out of the playoffs early, and you're pissed off enough, you come back the next year and win the Stanley Cup. That's what happened similar to the Panthers. What's your read on the Rangers situation?
It's not great. My read on it is, as I kind of delve into this and read some of the stories around it, that they didn't really do anything wrong. Is such a weird word because there's morally wrong and there's by the book wrong. They didn't break any rules. Threatening that if he wouldn't move his no trade clause and saying you're going to put him on waivers. Well, putting a guy on waivers is absolutely within their right. It's not like he had a no movement clause. He had a limited no trade to certain teams. So if he wouldn't waive the no trade, he can still be moved on waivers to the whatever. So they're going to put him on waivers if he doesn't move it. And to me, it just comes across as bullying, not knowing really what's going on. It comes across as a bit of bullying, manipulating the situation. Here's a player who earned the right to negotiate this little limited no trade clause into his contract. He's the captain of your team. And if you're going to try and push around a captain of your team, what does that tell the rest of the guys in the locker room about playing there, or free agents about wanting to sign there? Like, they're going to tell you all these great things in July, and they're going to say, Rod, we really want you, man. Like, we're not going to, we want to dedicate you. Look, we want you to be a leader in our locker room, in our community. We want you to move the family here. But the second things aren't going right, and we kind of think you might not be the answer, and we want to make a move, we don't care about what we negotiated in July. We're just going to force you to do what we want you to do. What's that going to make you think? Not very good.
You know any companies that operate like that, Darren? Rhetorical question.
I know where your mind's going.
I know that you know some, and we won't out ourselves on that. But the dysfunctional teams are sticking out in sports right now like Rudolph's nose. Not every team operates that way. And it's funny because as I dip back into the comments here from the Off the Hosel podcast, good morning, Jason and Drew say hello from Estevan. Good day, boys. The Bruins staff are watching today. The hockey boys have tuned in. I appreciate you. Brent in Wellington, Florida writes in. He says, Micah Parsons not so vocal about his team and coach today. LOL. Darren in Utah says, as a Chargers fan of 49 years, may I say to all Cowboys fans, welcome. Your team has learned how to charger a game, LOL. And from Scott in Vancouver, he says the Cowboys should play Trey Lance. Don't they want to see what they have with him? See, that's similar to what the Rangers are doing. We all can see that Trey Lance should play. A third overall pick from San Francisco out of NDSU. But dig a little deep. See, us Cowboys fans know this. Jerry doesn't want to pay him because what if he has success? Or doesn't want to play him because what if he has success? Then we got to pay him. So let's leave him mired on the bench and play this other stiff, which they should have won. It wasn't Cooper Rush's fault that they lost last night, but this is the politics that dysfunctional teams play.
Yeah.
You know what
and
I'm saying?
Jerry's in his
Not
little
every
scrum
team
at the end of the game. He's in the scrum at the end of the game, and he doesn't even get asked about it, but he talks about the game and, this and that, and he says, and the quarterback played well. The quarterback played really well. So he's already getting out in front of it, defending this, that Cooper Rush is the guy right now and all the rest to kind of squash any talk of Trey Lance whatsoever.
Tony, we got a break, but Tony in Cochrane, Alberta writes in. He says, the Raptors and Knicks game was far more entertaining than the Monday Night Football Loser Bowl. I can't say it wasn't entertaining. It was entertaining. And Dallas Cowboys are my team. I'm not switching teams now. Shy writes in and says, morning, Rod and Moose. I'm going to shut up and be quiet. Thank you. John in Edmonton writes in, he says, Rod, rumor has it Amazon wants to get into the streaming of CFL games. They want to air one game a week, just like they are with the NHL in Canada. Thought? A few things to get to. We got CFL notes. We have Raptors. We have Bill Belichick and the always popular randoms. Stick around, everybody. We will be right back here on Game Plus Television, WQEE Radio, streaming live, of course, in podcast, wherever the best podcasts are.
sounds like he knows what he's doing a little bit.
As long as you're entertained. Aren't you entertained?
We're all capable of doing more. More speed, more reps, more commitment to getting every detail perfect. And that's why it's important we never miss a donation appointment. Blood and plasma donors are needed every day in Canada to support thousands of patients that rely on Canada's lifeline. We're asking you to join the Hockey Gives Blood Partners for Life team. Join today by downloading the Give Blood app or book online at blood.ca/HGB.
Did you know that you can help save a life? And you can start right now.
Stem cells from male donors increase chances of positive outcomes for patients, yet they only make up 40% of our registry.
Today, there are hundreds of people in Canada searching for their life-saving match.
You can be a patient's best hope. Be a hero by registering with Canadian Blood Services Stem Cell Registry now.
Welcome to the Create Space at IKS Media. Meetings, podcasts, studio. Whether you're here to collaborate or educate, our versatile meeting places, workspaces, and studios await. Your next big idea starts here. Make our space your space. The Create Space at IKS.
Text 902-518-3033. 902-518-3033. Pick up your phone and text RP, that's Rod Pedersen. Text 902-518-3033.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
RP Show continues. Hour one brought to you by Culligan Water. Drink clean, live green. Filter your water for a healthier tomorrow. Culligan Water of Regina. Visit CulliganRegina.com. As a matter of fact, from the Queen City, we'll have Jared Dumba of the hockey-playing Dumba family. Jared Dumba coming in. Moose, were you just picking your nose?
No.
I'm joking, but listen, I was at a Starbucks in Nashville, Tennessee on Saturday morning, writing my 10 Things newsletter column, and the Starbucks employee was on a break. Picked his nose, and he wiped it on his black pants. He just kind of looked out the window, and then he went back behind the barista or whatever the hell and started serving people. Like, what do you do?
Well,
What do I was aghast.
I mean, he wasn't making your sandwich. Okay. So I'm okay. Not like when I think about degrees of the offense, the worst case, he's going to hold the coffee cup. He's not touching your lid, hopefully, right? Maybe like that would be the worst part of it. Is if he's grabbing the lid, no gloves, whatever. But he's not making your sandwich. So it's at least he's not putting the hands in the coffee. That would be bad.
I feel like a poll question coming on. He picked his nose and wiped it on his pants. That in itself
It's not
is
good.
a foul.
Yeah, it's not good.
No, I'd rather he ate it. Okay.
But like degrees of, like It's about a yellow on the scale, not quite to red.
Yeah. 902-518-3033 is the text line to comment on any of these issues. Scott in Moose Jaw writes in, he says, is Moose wearing a Deer Valley Golf Course shirt? Great course. Yes, he is. Yeah, he is. That's a fact, Jack. And before we jump back on point with the topics of the sports news, to our U.S. viewers, a lot of them are former Canadians, like Brent in Wellington, Florida. They'll get this. Are you seeing what I've termed now fake news that TSN is for sale, according to industry insiders? Bell, the phone company that owns TSN, Canada's sports leader, Canada's version of ESPN, according to the report, wants to focus on the phone and telecommunications side of Bell rather than the TV channel, and they want to sell it. And a spokesperson for TSN is denying it. Of course they are. Now I'm seeing the fake headlines from like hockeyfeed.com and BuzzFeed saying TSN's going under. But no, it's not. Stay on point. Stop. To quote Chris Jones, don't get it twisted. It would be a great purchase. I don't think there's any doubt. I love TSN. Not as much as I love Game Plus, the channel that we're on, but I do love TSN. Have you followed this story at all or even seen it?
How can you not love TSN? It's the Mecca. It is awesome. It's been with us, well, my whole life. But yeah, of course I've seen it, and it makes sense. Like, it doesn't mean that you don't sell something necessarily because it's failing. You sell something because it's the life cycle. Like, you invest money and you grow the product, and everybody says, well, you got to invest in the CFL coverage. You got to invest in this coverage. You got to put the time. Well, yeah, they did all those things like crazy. Like, the World Juniors wasn't the World Juniors until they poured money in it year after year after year and didn't make money. And then it becomes big because they sold it. And then you make money down the road 10 years later after you start doing the World Juniors every year and you build it into what it is. They built that thing up, and then they rode it and they made money and they did their thing. And now, you build the brand of Bell, and they've got the telecommunications, the fiber internet, all that kind of stuff, and they own the country. They're doing really well. That's where they're making their money. TSN helped build the brand, and you can just see the writing on the wall. They're getting rid of their media properties. They're shifting what their business is from not being a media company anymore to being a telecommunications company, because that's the life cycle of where their business is going and where they're going to make money. And so you have to deliver the media assets to a company that wants to be in media now for the next phase. Period.
They're a phone company. End of story. So they're selling their TV channel. To summarize what Darren just said in a sentence.
Yeah.
And I love TSN. They're not going under. And I hate that people are trying to spin that. It'd be interesting to see where it goes. John in Edmonton kind of put this in my mind when he brought up CFL games like they are with NHL games. Personally, I'd like to see Netflix doing it. More people have Netflix, I think, than Amazon. But I'd like to see it all evolve. And by the way, that's kind of what we're doing here at Game Plus, with slowly building with what we're doing. TSN started in 1984. You weren't alive yet, but I remember when it came on the air and we're sitting there going, what's this? Same
Sports desk.
Who's this? Who's this Jim Van Horn guy? Who's this Gino Retta? I know guys that were offered jobs at TSN and turned them down. Dale Isaac, because he was the big nuts of Canadian football broadcasting at the time. He's like, why would I leave CFL broadcasting and go to this channel? Who the hell are they? Well, and by the way, I'd probably do the He is the granddaddy of sportscasters in Saskatchewan, a lot of way. Anyways, TSN's not going anywhere, and I hope that they do get into streaming with the CFL. And I'll also say this, our show, this one right here, is the most watched talk show on Game Plus, but we're at This is fun, isn't it? 902-518-3033. I feel like somebody wants to say something in my ear. Hello?
All good.
Okay, yeah, I don't know what's going on. Maybe we need to go to Wi-Fi. The boys are telling me that I'm cutting out. There's not much I can do about it. We'll pick this up a little bit Point three, former Patriots coach and six-time Super Bowl champion Bill Belichick says he had a couple of good conversations with North Carolina Chancellor Lee Roberts about the Tar Heels head coaching job. Belichick appeared on the Pat McAfee show on Monday, said he had spent the 11 months since his departure from the NFL taking a longer look at the college game. UNC fired the program's all-time winningest coach in Mac Brown last month. Are you finding the furor around Belichick interviewing for this job as entertaining as I am? Not comical, just entertaining. People are like, why would he go to college? He's never coached in college. Who cares? And then, of course, I was one of the nincompoops initially saying at 72, 73, why does he want to coach anywhere anymore? And if he's got the spirit and he's got the energy, let him do whatever the hell he wants. I wouldn't want to, but I don't think Belichick knows any other way. So if he wants to go to UNC and they want to hire him, you know, what they say, they wouldn't hire him with the Falcons because he wanted too much control and he was too hard to work with. That's the narrative. I don't know if it's true or not, but do you think, or is this just staying relevant? Staying relevant.
A little of both. I think it's a little of both. We talk about the Dallas Cowboys and Mike McCarthy, and part of when, you know, in the NFL side, when you're going to make a coaching change, you need to know who's available too. That will go into making a coaching change. And you have to know that something better is out there. You don't just make a change to make a change. And in the case of the Cowboys, you know, Bill Belichick's out there. There's coordinators like the great offensive coordinator in Detroit. There's Cliff Kingsbury, Washington. John Gruden is out there if you want to go down that road. But in the college football world, like, people will say, what does he want to go to college for? Bill can't handle college. He only knows the pros. College is more like the pros than it's ever been. With the portal now, it's like free agency and almost like trades and all the rest. You only have guys for, you know, certain periods of time. And Bill has come out and said if he gets a job at UNC or in college, he would treat it like an NFL program, meaning, and we're seeing this at certain schools, like Andrew Luck is coming back to, I think, Stanford, right? To, you know, be a general manager. We're seeing programs hiring general managers. It's becoming more like a pro game than ever. And if there was ever a time for an NFL coach like Bill to be in college football, this might be it.
Brent in Wellington, Florida says he won't be hiring Moose for his restaurant anytime soon. You think it's okay to pick your nose, wipe it on your pants, and go back to work? Just saying.
Don't twist my words.
We're just having fun with it. People remembering the early days of TSN in 1984. Scott in Vancouver writes in, and he says, TSN showed darts. They showed it up to like 10 years ago, let alone 1984. John in Edmonton says TSN doesn't do much coverage of the CFL or Canadian Elite Basketball League or Canadian Premier League. It's all NBA, NFL on TSN. Listen, that's their channel. They can do whatever the hell they want with it.
Yep.
Utah Darren says all major NCAA programs now have a general manager. Yes, he's getting with the program. This is fun, isn't it? Everybody, what do you remember from TSN when it launched in 1984? I loved the logo, the little yellow dots, TSN and the little yellow dots.
Yes, like the scoreboard lights.
I was I don't like change. Did you know? But I've also gotten used to knowing that the only thing that's constant is change. Point four, the Toronto Raptors' injury woes never seem to end. All-star forward Scotty Barnes sprained his right ankle in the third quarter of Toronto's 113-108 loss to the Knicks Monday night, leaving the game after just 23 minutes playing time. Barnes had to be helped off the court with a 6:47 to go in the third quarter as the Raptors held a 73-68 lead at the time. But again, the Raptors lost again at the Knicks. Point five, Trey Ford not only has a new contract, he finally help. The quarterback from Niagara Falls, Ontario, met with the media at Commonwealth Stadium on Monday, 3 days after signing a 3-year deal with the Elks. The message from GM Ed Hervey and head coach Mark Tillum was clear. The number one job in Edmonton is now Ford's to lose. So we've got through all the topics. Can you believe it? Monday Night Football, NHL leftovers, Rangers as well. Bill Belichick, the Toronto Raptors, now Trey Ford. We're going to take a timeout, Moose, and be back with our hockey analyst, Jared Dumba, after this. The people are writing in, and John in Edmonton says, bowling coverage. Yep. BW in Edmonton says, did you see, great to see Mike Richards' show starting in January on Saturday mornings on City TV. That is exciting. Our guy, Mike Richards, we're going to get him on the air here in the next little while to talk about his latest venture. He is an icon in the broadcasting business. Okay, Moose, smoke him if you got him. We'll see you at the top of the hour. All right, Darren Moose DuPont and his Deer Valley bunny hug. We'll be back and talking hockey with Jared Dumba of the famous hockey-playing Dumba family right after this. We are live on Game Plus Television, streaming live as well, and, of course, podcasting wherever the best podcast.
Skate into the holiday season with the Stars. Stars on Ice 2024 Holiday Tour with figure skating icon Elvis Stoico, Olympic medalist Caitlin Osman, Caitlin Weaver and Andrew Poget, Keegan Messing, Satoko Miyahara, and more. Stars on Ice, coming to Moose Jaw Event Center December 20th. Unwrap your tickets at starsonice.ca.
Hi, my name is Logan Stankoven.
And I'm Connor Bedard.
We're both Hockey Gives Blood player ambassadors and proud to be blood donors.
There are thousands of patients each year in Canada that rely on a generous stranger to save their life.
Please book an appointment today to donate blood at blood.ca/HGB.
Welcome to the Create Space at IKS Media. Meetings, podcasts, studio. Whether you're here to collaborate or educate, our versatile meeting places, workspaces, and studios await. Your next big idea starts here. Make our space your space. The Create Space at IKS.
Mo.
The moustache is calling. Raise funds, save lives. Donate at Movember.com.
From cash spiels to grand slams, club competitions to world championships, there's a lot to keep up with on the pebbled ice. Stay up to date with the Hardline Curling Show, your weekly source for everything curling, with the latest event results, breaking news, interviews with players, executives, and insiders, plus behind-the-scenes access you won't get anywhere else. Follow us on Facebook, X, Instagram, and subscribe to our YouTube. Make sure you don't miss a thing.
We're all capable of doing more. More speed, more reps, more commitment to getting every detail perfect. And that's why it's important we never miss a donation appointment. Blood and plasma donors are needed every day in Canada to support thousands of patients that rely on Canada's lifeline. We're asking you to join the Hockey Gives Blood Partners for Life team. Join today by downloading the Give Blood app or book online at blood.ca/HGB.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
Hey, everybody, the old RP show continues. And since we're about to talk a little hockey here, if you're looking for the perfect place to improve your game, maybe have that office Christmas party, birthday party, Christmas party, you name it. Check out Overtime Hockey Lanes in Calgary. I will not steer you wrong by telling you to go there. We have so much fun every time we do. 28th Street, Northeast Calgary. Can we bring in our hockey analyst, Jared Dumba, from the famous hockey-playing Dumba family? Hey, Jared. A guy texted me today. I was going down the rabbit hole in the commercial break. He said, today was the day that the Florida Panthers were awarded a franchise way back in 92 or 93. And, of course, I'm jumping down that rabbit hole. It's an exciting day for hockey fans in South Florida. But I got to ask you this. You gave me a list of things to discuss here. And I'll say this. If you had a vote for the Rookie of the Year, the Calder Trophy in the NHL right now, who are you voting for?
Well, right now I'd be going for Matvei Michkov. I've been following him as long as I've been following Bedard, since he's about 14, 15 years old. What he's doing is incredible. He's just starting to find his footing. He's got 11 goals, 25 points in 26 games, not too shabby when he's just getting going. He had those two starts those two games where he was a healthy scratch. I think that really allowed him to take a view from upstairs and learn a little bit more, and also put that fire in his belly. He's looking great. He's looking like their best player right now already, and we're quarter of the way into the season, maybe a third of the way. You also got to have a look at guys like Lane Hudson, the D-man, small, slender D-man out of Montreal. He's working that power play now with Line A and their top power play line. He looks unbelievable. I've heard some people compare him to Chris Letang. I watched Chris Letang as a rookie as well. I see some similarities, but I don't know if I've ever seen a player think the game and move out there the way Lane Hudson does. He's been phenomenal to watch. And then you see Macklin Celebrini. He got 8 goals and 15 points in 18 games on a weak team. And much like Bedard last year, he's not surrounded by a star-studded cast. He's got maybe a little bit more than Bedard did last year, but he looks incredible out there. I mean, you're seeing all these good rookies come in and make immediate impacts. I'd say those three are my top three, and I love watching them. I watch as many games as I can, but right now I'd have to say Michkov has the edge just on what he's done so far. Slight edge over the.
Well, these things change too. Celebrini is the reigning rookie of the month in the NHL. Logan Stankoven was getting some votes, or at least some pub, very early on for the Dallas Stars. Now, moving on. You mentioned Connor Bedard. He set up the game winner last night, Taylor Hall's game winner at the New York Rangers. Chicago wins 2-1. I need to know your take on this grease fire that's become the New York Rangers. I was stunned to be reminded this morning that they won the President's Trophy last year. Best regular season record. What the hell's going on with the New York Rangers?
Wow, with the Rangers, that's a great question. You know what? My personal theory is I don't like when stuff slips out of the room, and I don't know who that was, if it was a GM or somebody else slipping stuff out of the room of what's going on. But as soon as that stuff starts happening, everybody in that room starts looking around and starts walking on eggshells, because all of a sudden you're not safe. Now who do you talk to? Who do you trust? Who's slipping that out? Am I next? You start to lose trust in not only your teammates a little bit, but also the organization. And then do guys start asking for a way out? Do they start asking for trades? It's just right now, and to see it happen after they have their best regular season ever last year, and then they start 12-4. I mean, they go on a slide, lose 6 of 7. I believe I think they've lost 8 of 9 now. So yeah, it's turned into a dumpster fire here. But hitting the panic button that quickly, and then getting rid of a guy like Trouba, it's the way it happened, I'm not a big fan of. You can see that trade from kind of either side. If you're a Trouba guy, you can say, well, that was terrible the way they let it out, and can't believe you do that to your captain. If you're a Ranger fan and not a Trouba guy, you can say, well, they told him in the summer that they didn't want him, and he could have picked wherever he wanted to go. It's kind of like a nasty divorce, Rod. Whose side are you on? It's whoever you like more, basically. But there's a little bit of wrong, I think, on both sides there, and we'll see. I don't know. Everybody thought a lot of people thought that they, once they got Trouba out, that was going to be it. and they can turn it around. But I don't know what's going on there. What do you do from
Didn't
here?
happen.
I'm expecting a big trade.
Yeah.
You know, one of these next few days, they got to shake up something. But I think the problem's kind of stemming from the room and what's going on around there.
On the leaked memo of players' names on the trading block, which clearly was true because Trouba was on the list and he got traded. Chris Kreider was on there too. These are the types of things that happen with dysfunctional organizations.
Yeah.
Moving on, Patrick Laine scores all the goals for Montreal in a winner, for the most part, in a win over Anaheim last night. This guy going to save the Montreal Canadiens? Is he the missing piece to get the Habs back to the playoffs, do you think?
Well, I don't know. I don't know if he's going to get them back to the playoffs, but it's definitely a foot in the right direction. Coming in, getting 3 power play goals in 3 games. He's making Ovi's office. He's slowly turning it into his office here again now, coming back. And to come back after that long off and after an injury and to just, have the team kind of behind you, the fans behind you, and to put up 3 goals in 4 games and the overtime and the shootout winner again last night. It says something. And Kirby Dach gets on the board last night. If they can get Kirby Dach going and he stays healthy, and Laine keeps doing what he's doing and keeps his head about him, that's definitely a step in the right direction towards the playoffs. Is that going to be it to put them there? I think they need a couple more years of those young guys coming along, maybe an extra piece or 2, but definitely a step in the right direction.
My last one for you is this, and I say it's the last one because you may take a few minutes on it. I don't know if you listen to NHL radio. I do every day. I assume you do. Steve Cooley saying yesterday that these are the 8 in the West. As of December 9th, these Western teams will be the playoff team. Minnesota, Winnipeg, Dallas, Central, Pacific, Vegas, LA, Vancouver, wild card, Edmonton, Colorado. These are the 8. Says Cooley. Do you agree?
Well, yeah, that's such a tough call at this stage of the game. I mean, you look at what Seattle's starting to do, starting to come on, and you're looking at guys like Shane Wright starting to put up goals almost every night over the last few weeks here. It's never easy to say that. Yeah, this is going to be for sure the 8. But if you look at the division, you look at the other teams where they're at, the Anaheims, and what's going on in some of the other places. I don't know. Will Calgary? What's Calgary going to do? Are they gonna slip in? That's such a tough call, but you know what? I could definitely see all 8 of those guys, all 8 of those teams getting in. You're seeing Edmonton, what they're doing right now. Everybody hits the panic button in the beginning of the year with Edmonton, and this year they had a little bit of they didn't win the cup, but you still call it the Stanley Cup playoff hangover, I guess. It's pretty tough to say that they're not going to be there. LA, they're looking good. I was a little worried about their goaltending at the beginning of the year. Who knows if they stand pat or what they're going to add, but LA's looking at really, really solid. Colorado with the new goaltending move. I mean, hearing a lot of people say, why would you do kind of an even trade? Why wouldn't you go to try and hit a home run? I don't think that Blackwood is a straight even trade for Georgiev. I don't know about you. I think Blackwood, 28 years old, sounds old in the NHL, but not for a goalie and not for the amount of games that he's played. An athletic guy like that, I think that's really going to help them out. So they're getting better and better. They just beat New Jersey 4-0 in New Jersey. They're going to continue to get better, and that they're going to try and add a little bit before the deadline too. They won't. I don't think they make any major moves, but they'll try and add a little bit. You know what? I can agree with those 8 for now, but I could see Seattle sneaking in.
It's just an opinion. It's a fun one. And of these teams that are not in the 8, Calgary, Seattle, Utah, St. Louis, San Jose, Anaheim, Nashville, Chicago, I don't see any of them doing anything change where they're at. And you asked how I feel about the Colorado trade. I just think I saw the Avalanche when they came through here. I just think Jared Bednar is like, Georgiev, not our guy. So let's move him. Let's give somebody else a chance. And that is the trade. Jared, we covered a lot of topics and not a lot of time. Let's do it again soon. Merry Christmas, my brother.
Merry Christmas, brother. We'll chat soon.
The great Jared Dumba checking in from the NHL capital, the Queen City. We'll be right back with a sports update and viewer takeover. We got some good stuff here, including comments on TSN, because they're in the news. Talk about why and more when we come back. And author Randi Druzin coming up in hour 2. You're not going to want to miss her. I want to talk about her before she gets here. We're live on Game Plus Television, live streaming, of course, and of course, podcasting wherever the best podcasts are.
Welcome to the Create Space at IKS Media. Meetings, podcasts, studio. Whether you're here to collaborate or educate, our versatile meeting places, workspaces, and studios await. Your next big idea starts here. Make our space your space. The Create Space at IKS.
I'm Bridget Laquette. I'm a First Nation Olympic silver medalist, and I'm proud to represent Indigenous hockey players across Canada. Each year, hundreds of Canadians need a stem cell transplant from an unrelated donor to save their life. Anyone can have a hard time finding a stem cell match, but for Indigenous peoples, it can be even more difficult, because just over 1% of prospective donors on Canada's stem cell registry are of Indigenous backgrounds. Be a hero. Join me in Hockey Gives Blood in helping to make a life-saving difference to those in need. Register today at blood.ca/beahero.
From cash spiels to Grand Slams, club competitions to world championships, there's a lot to keep up with on the pebbled ice. Stay up to date with the Hardline Curling Show, your weekly source for everything curling, with the latest event results, breaking news, interviews with players, executives, and insiders, plus behind-the-scenes access you won't get anywhere else. Follow us on Facebook, X, Instagram, and subscribe to our YouTube. Make sure you don't miss a thing.
Text 902-518-3033. 902-518-3033. Pick up your phone and text RP, that's Rod Pedersen. Text 902-518-3033.
Mo.
The Moustache is calling. Raise funds, save lives. Donate at Movember.com.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
All right, welcome back, everybody. Oh, this is a shorty. We went long with Jared, but that's okay because it's so much fun. We love talking hockey. We love talking sports network wars, too, don't we? We're asking the viewers, what do you remember about TSN when it logged on in 1984, when it signed on in 1984? Sorry. Why are we talking about that? Because it's in the news that Bell, the phone company that owns TSN, is looking to sell the TV channel TSN. They want to focus on phone. not a TV channel, which probably is what they should have done in the first place. K-Dog in Yorkton, right? Then he says the TSN Pepto-Bismol upset of the night. You're good, you. You're good. Tony in Cochrane writes, and he says, weren't we TSN bashing a couple months ago? It's not the content so much, it's the Toronto Homer commentary that's ad nauseum. I avoid TSN other than Raptors games. You were bashing TSN, not us, if you recall. I said if it's too Toronto-centric, don't watch. But you watch and want to complain about what they're talking about. That's a choice you're making. I'm fine with it. Allie in Texas writes in. She says, happy Tuesday, RP, Moose and Squad. Hey, Allie, you showed up just in time. We're talking about Canada's ESPN. It's for sale. People are acting like it's going out of business. It won't. John in Ottawa writes in and says, Bell is returning to its telephone roots. Rogers to follow with a divestiture of Sportsnet? Why would they? They've worked so hard and so long to be Canada's #1 sports network. You see it on all the boards and the hockey rinks up there. Rogers did in Sportsnet to become #1. Why the hell would they sell now? They've been trying to do this for 25 years. They've reached the top of the mountain. I don't think you jump once you reach the top of the mountain. PW says, didn't Don Cherry have a show on TSN? Well, there was Don Cherry's Grape Line. I can't really remember what channel it was on. Maybe it was TSN. I feel like it was CBC. Somebody want to help me with that? Rich in Edmonton writes, and he says, a close friend and frequent guest on your show has known for quite some time that Bell wasn't sure about the long-term status of their sports entities. And so they're going to sell the TV channel. Big deal. Sports update, Florida winger Matthew Tkachuk, Tampa Bay center Braden Point, and Vegas goaltender Aiden Hill have been named the NHL's 3 stars of the week. Meanwhile, the field for the highly anticipated 2025 Canadian mixed doubles curling trials is complete, and the countdown is on to the team nominated to represent Canada at the Winter Olympics in Italy. The action unfolds December 30th to January 4th at Queen's Place Emirates Centre in Liverpool, Nova Scotia. Some of the teams include Laurel Walker and Kirk Myers of Edmonton and Humboldt, respectively. Chestermere, Alberta's Jocelyn Peterman and Brett Gallant. Nancy Martin and Steve Laycock of Waukon, Saskatoon. Jennifer Jones and Brent Lang. And my fave, Rachel Homan and Brendan Botcher. What a team that is. Dun, 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 the Evil Empire. For more and to see the full field, go to curling.ca. Hour 2, I feel, is just going to be a barrel of monkeys. Stick around, everybody. We'll be right back after this brief pause here on Game Plus.
We're all capable of doing more. More speed, more reps, more commitment to getting every detail perfect. And that's why it's important we never miss a donation appointment. Blood and plasma donors are needed every day in Canada to support thousands of patients that rely on Canada's lifeline. We're asking you to join the Hockey Gives Blood Partners for Life team. Join today by downloading the Give Blood app or book online at blood.ca/HGB.
Welcome to the Create Space at IKS Media. Meetings, podcasts, studio. Whether you're here to collaborate or educate, our versatile meeting places, workspaces, and studios await. Your next big idea starts here. Make our space your space. The Create Space at IKS.
IKS Game Day wishes to congratulate the city of Esteban and Affinity Place on their brand new center ice display. This state-of-the-art score clock features 5 LED faces with full motion graphics, scoring integration, and our new Halo mounting system. If it's time for an upgrade, let us show you how to deliver the best fan experience. You can find us at iksgameday.com.
The live sports experience is changing. Teams and facilities are under pressure to provide online and in-venue entertainment. IKS Live has the right team to deliver. We provide service across North America and produce the best fan experience, in the seats or streaming to you. IKS Live continues to bring you the best seat in the house.
Text 902-518-3033. 902-518-3033. Pick up your phone and text RP, that's Rod Pedersen. Text 902-518-3033.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Hashtag dad advice from Jim Pedersen, my dad, who said, cheer as loud as you want for your own team. Don't ever boo the other team. Don't ever boo the other team. And to boo your own team? Unthinkable. In the world of James William Pedersen. So, A, I would never do it. B, with the cost of those things? Are you kidding me?
This is the Rod Pedersen Show.
Hey, we're live. Trying to fix my Barkov bobblehead box here. Reduce the shine. Not working. Okay, let's bring Moose in. He's fixing his hair, the boys tell me. Up there in Toronto, where there's no snow. How you doing,
Move
Moose?
the mic,
What do you got?
too.
Not really. No, I
It was
don't feel
behind,
like I moved
behind the
mic.
football.
Oh, that one. I think I meant this one. Yeah, I did. It was, now it's over this shoulder behind Ron and Dawn, and it's a little sloppy over there. So
I see. It
here
was
we go.
bothering you.
It's like the elf on a shelf, microphone edition. Darren, this is so much fun, and this is episode number 1395 of Canada's daytime sports talk show, allowing 32 U.S. states to peek in on what we talk about in the Great White North. And while we're at it, producer Clark, director Ryan, or whoever's in the chair, Tuna, can you hit the quick tick, Joe Horn, and we'll re-up where we were an hour ago?
How about that?
Which, to be honest, feels like it was a year ago because we've covered so much ground. Monday Night Football, Dallas Cowboys implode, rinse, repeat. 27-20 to the Cincinnati Bengals. We put that to bed. NHL leftovers, 3 one-goal games last night, including the New York Rangers losing 2-1 at home to the Chicago Blackhawks. We put to bed the fact that the Rangers are a grease fire. Nobody really knew because nobody was paying attention, and now here it is. What are you going to do? Our hockey analyst, Jared Dumba, was with us last hour to talk about that from the famous hockey-playing Dumba family. And the poll question today comes out of that. It is for EMJ Marketing. They'll provide the perfect keynote speaker for your event. Look up the roster at emjmarketing.com and then contact Joe. Will the New York Rangers make the playoffs? I voted no. 62% of respondents voting no. And Moose, what did you vote? I forgot.
Will they make the playoffs? I'm voting yes.
Yeah. Yeah? Okay. But you think they're going to make a rash of changes, or what makes you think that you're going to make the playoffs?
No, I just think you talked about last hour, reminding us that they were the President's Trophy winners last year. These players didn't forget how to play hockey overnight. they're still a talented team. I think they'll do enough. They've got enough talent to get in. Do I think they're going to make a run, move up the standings, win a Stanley Cup? I'm not convinced, but I think they'll get into the playoffs. They're too good not to.
Yeah. Well, we air in New York and New Jersey. So if there's Rangers or, for that matter, Devils fans that want to chime in, and maybe you have some intel that we don't. I liken it to this. We saw the Rangers winning the President's Trophy last year. We saw them making it to the Eastern Conference Final. We thought they were a good team. Top 2 or 3 money-earning revenue teams in the NHL. I kind of figured that there was a little bit of dysfunction there with John Davidson being fired and Dolan, the president there now. James Dolan seems like a bit of a jackwagon, but you know what? A lot of team presidents are, so whatever. Didn't think it was that big of a... It's sort of like Dallas. All of you that aren't paying attention to what goes on with the Cowboys, you didn't realize we're dysfunctional, the Dallas Cowboys. You didn't know that. We knew that. In Dallas, as Dallas fans, right? So I'm sure in New York they knew. Now the whole world's seeing. Talked about that. Bill Belichick interviewing in North Carolina with the Tar Heels, and he's basic. It sounds like to me, if he gets offered the job, he's going to go. He'll probably be like Chris Jones and have an out built into his contract that if an NFL team offers him a job, he'll be able to bolt. What these guys do, but Belichick is not closing the door on a college job. Raptors losing to the Knicks last night, rinse and repeat. And then Trey Ford in Edmonton as we wrap things up with CFL news. The quarterback of record of the Edmonton Elks signed a 3-year contract extension with the Elks on Friday, met with the media yesterday. Did you see the video, Darren, of the team owner, Daryl Thompson, like doing something on his computer and signing the contract, and he wasn't wearing pants? Did you see the video of the owner of the Elks?
I missed it. Is that real?
Yes. Oh, yeah. And it's not like he was sitting there. He was just in shorts, like I am, okay? But it's 27 degrees. It's 27 degrees Celsius where I am. He's in Edmonton. Oh, we're at 8. It's probably 27 below. And the owner signed the deal not wearing pants. And to be honest, Elks fans are celebrating that. But that's not where I want to go with this.
I thought he was in his skivvies.
Yeah, no. Well, no, I don't think so. Maybe tasteful boxers. I don't know. But
yeah.
There was definite skin exposed. 902-518-3033 if you're interested in any of what we're talking about here. Allie in Texas writes in, she says, smart man, that Mr. Pedersen. She's talking about my dad, not me. I know that for a fact. Colt, the Alouette fan, writes in, he says, hello, Rod and the boys. Good afternoon. It is, if you're in the East. That's my moose antler honoring you, Moose. So just the off-road that we took. Allie in Texarkana, you're going to have to bear with us on this because this is a Canadian topic. But TSN, Canada's ESPN, is apparently up for sale by its owner, Bell Communication. Bell, which I believe started in the United States, Alexander Graham Bell. That's where it's come from. Did you know that? Bell is a phone company that is reportedly tired of owning a TV channel, so they're trying to sell it. And some media outlets are trying to turn this into fake news and blah, 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 and that TSN's in trouble, that it's in jeopardy. It's not. It's not in jeopardy at all. I'm just interested to see who sells it. And just so you know, before we get into the comments, because they're very entertaining, this is the most interactive show on television. There ain't no doubt about that. I love TSN. And I know Darren loves TSN too. You were just on it last week, were you not?
And again this week, yeah.
Yeah, there you go. So, quite obviously, Darren loves it. He's on there with the Crown Gridiron Countdown, Canadian University show. I've been on TSN multiple times, talking CFL, World Juniors, whatever they have. I was on off the record. Now, it was one of the worst experiences of my life. But again, that's me. Put it on me. I love TSN. They offered me a job actually a few times back in the day, but I just was not in a position in my life to take it, which is unfortunate. Don't look back. But I got no beef with TSN. And for whatever reason, a lot of people do. That's their deal. So to the audience, to the crowd, Okay, so they're talking about Don Cherry's Grapevine. Well, I guess it was on TSN. I mean, I literally don't remember. It was in the 80s. Darren was born in 87. He doesn't apply to this conversation. BW in Edmonton writes, and he says, it would be smart for the NHL Players Association to buy into TSN as a co-op partner. Ontario Teachers Union did that with the Maple Leaf Sports a few years ago. Right? Scott in Vancouver says Sportsnet shouldn't be showing poker. It isn't a sport. Put that on game TV instead of 70s game show rerun. Scott, how would you like it if we told you how to run your life? You wouldn't. So pipe down. 902-518-3033. Bill in Brantford writes in, Darren, and he says, Michael Landsberg was one of the originals on TSN. We all know Michael Landsberg. Hey, Landsberg. He had Donald Trump on his shows before Trump ever thought of being president of the United States. Signed Bill in Brantford. Now, TSN signed on in 1984. Darren was born in 1987. You don't know a world without TSN. That's pretty wild. What is your earliest recollection of TSN, Darren? What's yours?
So, did I lose Rod's audio? I can't. Can you hear me, Rod? Give me a thumbs up.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, I can't hear Rod anymore. So I couldn't hear what question you asked me, unfortunately.
You still can't hear me? You still can't hear me? You still can't hear me?
Yeah, you just cut out randomly in the middle of that segment.
You can.
Oh.
Yeah, hello.
I have you now. Ask away.
Yeah, dude, I don't know if this is a me thing or a IKS thing. Oh, Clark says it's a them thing. Okay. There's a guy drilling literally just on the other side of this wall. You know, and I would not be shocked if he came right. Well, I can. And I feel like it's going to come right through this, into my temple. And the way this day's going, it would not surprise me. But the thing is, you know why. I was in a fender bender this morning.
Yeah, lots going on. What's the question?
No. No, I'm not done yet. I told you an hour ago that I asked my spiritual coach, Alan Kaler, the great Alan Kaler, who calls himself a sober consultant, by the way. We all have interesting terms in this recovery business. And I said, Al, you feel like car accidents are symbolic of something, a message from the universe. So I said, would you mind telling me what this message is? Would you mind? I was just in a car accident this morning. 111. He says, what were you thinking about at the time of the accident? That might have something to do with it. And I said, it's funny you say that. I was thinking about how often, she's not going to like me saying this, but Serena regularly says to me what she appreciates about me. She's like, you know what I appreciate about you? Da-da-da-da-da-da. And I'm like, God, what a great gal. That's what I was thinking. Whack. That's what I was thinking. So Alan Kaler says to me, I don't think it has anything to do with her. I think it's just a spit hap type of thing. Merry Christmas. That was from Alan.
Thanks for the no answer. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, exactly. Rich in Edmonton says, keep the crap meter low, Rod. Oh, trust me, I'm trying. Trust me, I am trying. Tony and Cochrane didn't like the way, he just said, weren't we bashing TSN like a couple of weeks ago? I said, no, you were bashing TSN. We weren't. We all know it's the Toronto Sports Network. Who cares? If you don't like it, don't watch. That's all that I said to Tony from Cochrane, because he was really bashing TSN. And I don't, not my job to defend them. But my question to you that you said that you didn't hear was, because you don't know a life without TSN, what's your earliest recollection of it?
Yeah, Sports Desk. I remember Michael Landsberg, Gino Retta, like That's Hockey, early episodes. I think Dave Hodge was on that network, right? Like a lot. Well, obviously not, recently, not even that recent ago, like long ago. I remember that. I remember the great Sports Center days of Darren Detition and Mike Toth, and the commercials they used to run were really awesome. I used to love their Sports Desk commercials. Those were really cool. There's a lot that I really loved about TSN, and I know that a lot of people are complaining about TSN that they should be airing university sports and more CFL content and all these things. They did all those things to build the network and build the brand. And they're not going to go back and build the brand now because they're focused on the phone company side of it and the internet company. They're investing in developing that, putting fiber and internet lines and phone lines into other areas and new markets. They've already built the TV channel. So now when you build the brand, all they're putting on is capitalizing on it with the programming that the most number of people watch. That's it. They're not interested in building new markets, but a new company that wants to build it may be interested in investing and building it up. And to do that, you build new markets, new fan bases, new sports, all the things TSN did 20 years ago.
BW in Edmonton writes in, he says, it's -11 in South Edmonton. What is it in North Edmonton? Colt, the Alouettes fan, writes in and says, will tell us by TSN. Darren just eloquently explained why a phone company doesn't want TSN. Why would TELUS turn around and buy it?
No.
Regarding Don Cherry's Grapevine, Scott in Vancouver says, Don Cherry's Grapevine was on a Hamilton station, CHC8. It was, but somehow or another, us out in Western Canada got it. So I'm sure it was on TSN. Mark in Melfort writes in and says, my earliest memory of TSN was Dutchie hosting Sportsnet. Just like Darren. He was, and Ali in Texarkana says, maybe Elon Musk will buy. Ironically, Darren, it was a TELUS that I was in an accident again. Which, by the way, the cop said to me, I told you this on the phone, but he's like, you don't have any damage on your vehicle at all. I'm like, no, the Jeep. Things are indestructible, man. They're Tonka toys. Her Tesla, not so much. From the Hockey Club podcast in Tallahassee, Florida, writes it and says, one of the highlights of my career was being interviewed on TSN by Gord Miller after the U of R Cougars won the 1991 Duracell Cup champion. See, now we're getting somewhere. BW says, Mike Toth, gonna have to Google where he is now. Do you know, Darren? I think he's still in Toronto. The peerless Mike Toth.
He was in Oshawa a couple of weeks ago, actually, in the building when I was there at the game. Absolutely.
Unbelievable. The original voice of the Calgary Hitmen. Trivia knowledge that nobody knows or cares about. And he nicknamed Boris Protsenko the Ukrainian Knight. Okay, Moose, we're going to play NHL Breakaway Bet coming up. So have a look at the games, preview your thoughts. Great job. And we'll be back in a moment. We're live on Game Plus Television, live streaming, and, of course, podcasting, wherever the best podcasts are.
The live sports experience is changing. Teams and facilities are under pressure to provide online and in-venue entertainment. IKS Live has the right team to deliver. We provide service across North America and produce the best fan experience, in the seats or streaming to you. IKS Live continues to bring you the best seat in the house.
Text 902-518-3033. 902-518-3033. Pick up your phone and text RP, that's Rod Pedersen. Text 902-518-3033.
We're all capable of doing more. More speed, more reps, more commitment to getting every detail perfect. And that's why it's important we never miss a donation appointment. Blood and plasma donors are needed every day in Canada to support thousands of patients that rely on Canada's lifeline. We're asking you to join the Hockey Gives Blood Partners for Life team. Join today by downloading the Give Blood app or book online at blood.ca/HGB.
From cash spiels to Grand Slams, club competitions to world championships, there's a lot to keep up with on the pebbled ice. Stay up to date with the Hardline Curling Show, your weekly source for everything curling, with the latest event results, breaking news, interviews with players, executives, and insiders, plus behind-the-scenes access you won't get anywhere else. Follow us on Facebook, X, Instagram, and subscribe to our YouTube. Make sure you don't miss a thing.
Sounds like he knows what he's doing a little bit.
As long as you're entertained. Aren't you entertained?
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
RP Show continues, and we were remiss, didn't mention this yesterday. In landmark cinemas now, the movie Red One. Here's the story. After Santa Claus, codenamed Red One, is kidnapped, the North Pole's head of security, played by The Rock, Dwayne Johnson, must team up with the world's most infamous bounty hunter, Chris Evans, in a globe-trotting, action-packed mission to save Red One in landmark cinemas now. Please welcome the Moose. Thank you, Moose. Thank you for putting up with me on what's been a slightly traumatic day. Yeah, it was a fender bender this morning here in South Florida. And Allie from Texarkana writes in, and she says, she's like, "Oh my, I hope you're okay." Yeah, I am. And I said, with a spiritual coach he goes, car accidents are a sign from the universe. I said, what's the sign of? And he's like, I just think it's stuff happening. No big deal. What I think it is, and I'm out of it now, is I got my Florida driver's license. I got my Florida registration. I got my papers. I'm a Floridian. I'm good, right? And the cop she was good. She was really cool about it. I don't want to go into any more of it while I've talked too much about it. Like I said, a little fried in the old noggin today. Taylor in Calgary writes in, she says, I like TSN. I remember CFL on CBC. It wasn't good. They blacked out lots of games back then. That was the CFL wanted that, not the television channel. If it was up to the television channel, they would air every game. That's what they want. They're not the ones that want the blackouts. It's the league. I'm so tired of misdirected aggression and anger. I'm so tired of it. Sucking a lot of it my way for crap I don't deserve. So tired of it. Rich in Edmonton writes in, he says, I went to our local landmark on Sunday just to buy popcorn. Done that multiple times. Have you, Darren, literally gone to the theater, just got the drinks, the snacks, and gone home? Have you? I have.
100%. But it's, I don't know why you overpay for it, but it's the best. You can't make it like that at home.
That's why you can't. That's why.
Yeah.
No. I feel like with the temperatures that Canadians are putting up with right now, and granted, Darren says there's no snow in Toronto, it's raining there. In Western Canada, trust me, I'm hearing from everybody that it's well below 0 Celsius and tons of feet of snow. I feel like if you take the snacks home from the theater, in that condition, you're going to lose a little bit of the chutzpah, but what do I know? I've done it in the winter too. Let's get down to business. Let's get down to business with our NHL breakaway bet. The Motor City Mad Mouse Scott Morganroth beat. Going to say it. I'm not admitting it. I was 0 for in my pick last. He had 1 right. I had 0 right on a 3-game NHL slate. It's a busy one tonight with 11 games. Philadelphia Flyers at the Columbus Blue Jackets tonight. Who do you like, Moose?
Blue Jacket.
Ooh, no hesitancy.
Yep.
What makes you say that?
Nope. I'm not confident enough in Philly. I want to pick the Flyers. I want them to do better. I'm not confident enough.
Well, I'll take Philly because the last I looked, they're in a playoff spot. I'm not sure if they still are or not, but they're close. Closer than Columbus, so I'll take Philly to win. San Jose Sharks at Carolina tonight. Sharks is a long road trip for San Jose and not a very good one. I'm going to go with Carolina. How about you?
Me too.
Okay. Colorado Avalanche, the day after their big goalie trade at the Pittsburgh Penguins. Who do you like?
I like Pittsburgh.
I'm going to go with Pittsburgh. The Toronto Maple Leafs at the New Jersey Devils. Do you find it tough picking your team, the Leafs? Like just gauging what you do?
Yeah. And it's, against their old coach and Sheldon Keefe. I'm still going to pick the Leafs to win on the road.
You always do. I'm going to take the Devils. They're your team. I get it. I picked the Cowboys.
And they win more than they lose. So the odds are in my favor.
Cowboys lose more than they win. Yeah. The Los Angeles Kings at the New York Islanders.
I like the
Who
Kings.
You like them there?
I like them a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to take them as well. Game of the night, perhaps. Dun-dun-dun, dun-dun-dun. Boston at Winnipeg. What do you think?
Jets.
I'm with you on that. It's like they're all that until we see that they're not all that. Although I know there's a little bit of panic there. Former Jets coach Rick Bowness has moved to South Florida. I've been furiously texting my Winnipeg hockey folk trying to get Rick Bowness's cell number to get him into our Florida studio. Not this one, although maybe this one, but the Cats and Bolts podcast. If anybody in Winnipeg has Rick Bowness's cell number, or for that matter, Dallas, or the myriad of places he's coached, Ottawa, send it to you, boy. Calgary Flames at the Nashville Predator. What are we thinking
Sneaky
there?
game. Yeah, sneaky game. I don't know. I'm going to go with Calgary in this one just because I feel more confident about Calgary than I do about Nashville.
I'll take Nashville, mostly because Darren didn't, just to be the rub. But, yeah, the Preds suck. Tampa Bay at Edmonton. If the Winnipeg game's not the game of the night, I feel like this is. Tampa Bay at Edmonton tonight. The Bolts are coming off a win in Vancouver. I'm going to go with the Oil. How about you?
Yeah, I'm going to go with Tampa on this one. I'll take the other side. I like the Lightning, and I think they'll win tonight.
Minnesota Wild at the Utah something. Minnesota for me, dog.
Oh, yeah, ×2.
Okay. The Florida Panthers at Seattle. Man, are they making a big deal out of this is the first time they're playing Brandon Montour, star defenseman of days gone by with the Panthers, signed as a free agent with the Kraken. Personally, he's a great player, but he's not a beloved franchise great, I don't think. You got to find a reason to sell the game. And just so you know, it's not the Panthers that are making a big deal out of it. It's the fans. I'll take Florida to win at Seattle tonight, but how about you?
In Seattle, give me the Kraken tonight for the upset.
Okay. And we wind it up in Vancouver with the Canucks home to the St. Louis Blues. I will take Vancouver.
Yeah.
Okay, that's two of us. Okay. Perfect. It's called sport betting, everybody, where Darren and I make our picks, don't put any money on the line, and therefore we don't declare bankruptcy or lose our homes. Sport betting. Check it out.
Mark.
It's a hell of a lot of fun. Allie in Texarkana writes in and she says, I love Bones. Everybody loves Rick Bowness, and this is his first year out of coaching. Where do people go when they are looking to decompress? South Florida. And this is where he is, Rick Bowness. So we're trying to get a hold of him to bring him into the Captain Bolt studio, and maybe this one, if all goes well. Poll question today, will the New York Rangers make the Stanley Cup playoffs? Darren saying yes. 52% of you voting on YouTube are also saying yes, they will make the playoff. It's just a very interesting story. Like, I'm of the mindset that they are a dysfunctional franchise. I feel like you're not there yet. Am I right on that?
Yeah, I don't think they're a dysfunctional franchise. They've been around forever. I think there's a lot of great history. I think they're one of the great, well-respected franchises in sport. But this is just a move that's just rubbing a lot of people the wrong way. So I think, if this becomes a trend on how they treat people, not that they did anything that was not allowed. They did nothing illegal or nothing against the rules, but yeah, if this becomes a trend, it's not going to be good for them, but not a good look right now.
Yeah, well, listen, folks, we're going to do, we have 4 more minutes with Darren, and then we're going to bring in Randi Druzin. Her latest book is Behind the Math, revealing the stories between 12 of the NHL's greatest all-time goalies. And just so you know, spoiler alert, there are a lot of my favorites. Randy's coming in. Kirk in Toronto writes in 902-518-3033. Kirk says, hey, Rod, TSN studios are a 15-minute walk from my house in Agincourt, East End, Toronto. And off the record was a gem. Am I saying that right? Agincourt? You're the Toronto guy. Am I saying that right?
I thought it was the studios were in Scarborough. But anyways, that could be the community inside the city. I'm getting to know this place too. It's new. And I'm on the west side. So the east end of Toronto is foreign to me. I go through there when I'm going out to Oshawa and Peterborough for game.
So these are the things. 902-518-3033. If you've got any comments you'd like in while Moose is still with us, fire them at us now and on the streams, YouTube and Facebook. But I will say this, when I said it was one of my worst experiences of my life going on off the record, I don't mind because Michael Landsberg, he can handle it. He's a big boy, but he was the host of the show, and he did his best to make me uncomfortable. Not blaming him. It's on me. I was up all night with anxiety the night before to the degree that I was sleepwalking at a fly-in from the Queen City. I was worried about missing my flight. I made it. Race out to the TSN compound, and it really is a compound. I believe they had secure perimeter around it. Maybe not armored guards, but close. And it just made me very uncomfortable to the point that, as a guy that's done literally thousands of interviews, I always try to make my interview guests comfortable. He tried to make me uncomfortable. And I'm not going to get into why, because we don't have time here. It's not necessarily about that, but it was one of the most upsetting moments of my life. Not embarrassing, but upsetting. To the degree that after it aired, Lee Jones from CTV texted me and said immediately, Darren, what the hell was that? I don't know. He was insulting my clothing. He was insulting my writing. Whatever, man. It's the truth. At this point in my life, I don't care. But with regards to Randi Druzin, who's joining us next, and her book, Behind the Mask, which we got to get our hands on that book. You do much reading, Moose? Are you a reader?
A little. Not as much as I would like, but when I get into reading, I really enjoy it.
Oh, well, the last book that you started was Arnold Schwarzenegger's book, right?
Oh, yeah, finished that one. Yeah, finished. Really good book. Yeah, when I get into a book, I read it all the way through.
Just so you know, folks, I'm not casting dispersions on Darren because I've started Doug McLean's book, Draft Day, with Scott Morrison. Let me tell you, it is a forensic dive into NHL draft history. Line by line. You You know what I'm saying? Forensic. So it gets a little dry at times. I like his draft stories and how this trade could have happened. This trade almost happened. You can tell where Doug McLean tells the stories versus where Scott Morrison takes over. You know what I'm saying? Scott Morrison's more of the banker of the writing thing versus Doug McLean's more of the storyteller. So I'm about halfway through. I'll get through it. And I'm also reading Scott Morgan Roth, the Motor City Mountain book, Lessons from the Microphone. I'm going to tell you, at the moment, it's far more fascinating. Scott's, because it's the stories of whatever the hell it is, 45 years in the sports media business all over America, covering Super Bowls and World Series and you name it, man. It's unreal. So I'm about halfway through both. Haven't finished either. So, yeah, we're the same that way. Okay, Moose, we are out of time with you. Anything you'd like to leave the people with?
All right. Yeah, well, if Scott Morganroth could write a book, imagine the book that this guy could write. We're waiting for it. We want to hear all the stories.
I'm only at halftime of my life, but I get it. All right, Moose.
It gives you a chance to write too. All right.
Exactly. Thank you. Author Randi Druzin joins us next. She's going to be fantastic. I just know it. We'll be right back here on Game Plus. Streaming live as always. And podcast wherever the best podcasts are.
Sounds like he knows what he's doing a little bit.
As long as you're entertained. Aren't you entertained?
We're all capable of doing more. More speed, more reps, more commitment to getting every detail perfect. And that's why it's important we never miss a donation appointment. Blood and plasma donors are needed every day in Canada to support thousands of patients that rely on Canada's lifeline. We're asking you to join the Hockey Gives Blood Partners for Life team. Join today by downloading the Give Blood app or book online at blood.ca/HGB.
Did you know that you can help save a life? And you can start right now.
Stem cells from male donors increase chances of positive outcomes for patients, yet they only make up 40% of our registry.
Today, there are hundreds of people in Canada searching for their life-saving match.
You can be a patient's best hope. Be a hero by registering with Canadian Blood Services Stem Cell Registry now.
Welcome to the Create Space at IKS Media. Meetings, podcasts, studio. Whether you're here to collaborate or educate, our versatile meeting places, workspaces, and studios await. Your next big idea starts here. Make our space your space. The Create Space at IKS.
Text 902-518-3033. 902-518-3033. Pick up your phone and text RP, that's Rod Pedersen. Text 902-518-3033.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
All right, the RP Show continues on this Tuesday. How do you like this so far? Brought to you by Seat Giant. Stop paying U.S. dollars for games and concerts. Canadian owned and operated with Canadians in mind. Super Bowl, college football, Taylor Swift, Justin Timberlake. We've got it all. Use the promo code RP Show for 15% off now. Check us out at seatgiant.ca. We are awaiting Randi Druzin, author of Behind the Mask, revealing the stories of 12 of the greatest all-time NHL goaltenders. I appreciate our guy, Jersey Jim's, watching in New Jersey, ironically, and is informing us notes from the NHL Board of Governors meetings. The Board of Governors or GMs, whoever's meeting down here in South Florida right now, got a lot going on. So I haven't entirely been on top of it. I rely on guys like Jersey Jim to let me know what is. And he says, according to Elliot Friedman, who I think is here covering it, Florida Panthers are closing in on being named the next outdoor game hosts in the National Hockey League. And they will be playing at Lone Depot Park, home of the MLB's Marlin. Also, the salary cap going up 5%, apparently. If I read that right, that's what I saw in the break. So we have Randi. Are we ready to go? All right. Very excited to welcome Randi Druzin, the author of Behind the Mask, revealing the stories of 12 great, all-time great goaltenders. How you doing, Randi? Thanks for joining us today.
I'm very well. How are you?
Good, good. Listen, I didn't really get into much of your bio here other than to say celebrated author, journalist. This is your latest book, but you covered Madeleine Albright's trip to the Czech Republic. You've done news.
I did.
Right, you do sport. As a goalie guy, just so you know,
Yeah.
I love them.
Yeah.
And you love them. But I want to know why you love goalies so much.
Do you want me to tell you now?
Absolutely.
I love goalies because they're incredibly interesting and they're so different than every other player on the ice. I mean, if you think about it, the goalie's experience of a hockey game is completely different from that of his teammates or her teammates, as the case may be. I mean, the other players are working in a coordinated effort to either attack or defend, and then they skate to the bench, they talk to each other, they talk to the coach. That's not the case for the goalie. The goalie is, he's on his own, and he doesn't come to the bench unless it's something urgent or unless he needs a bit more water or Gatorade. So I feel like because the position is so different, it attracts a different kind of athlete.
And personality. I was going to say, keep going.
Absolutely.
I mean, here's the thing.
I mean,
as a goalie,
there's a whole debate.
Now continue.
Well, there's a whole debate. Like, does the position of goaltender make these men interesting and a little different? Or are they attracted to the position because they're a little different to begin with? And I'm sort of in the latter school of thought. How about you?
Well, full disclosure, I am a mental health and addiction recovery coach, and the vast demographic of my clientele are goalies, and I was one. So we speak our own language, just do. And I would say once a goalie, always a goalie. And obviously you and I can sit and talk about this forever, but it seems to me that, and I was going through this list of your goalies, Grand Fuhr, Rogie Vachon. These aren't recent goalies. These are some of my favorites that I loved growing up. Was there a common theme amongst the 12? I mean, they all have their own stories, but was there a common theme amongst all 12 of them?
Well, what happened was I wrote my first goalies book about 10 years ago. And I chose a lot of the original 6 goalies, like Gump Worsley, Terry Sawchuk, Johnny Bauer, Jacques Plante. And then I went up. I think the most recent goalie in that book was Martin Brodeur. So that's how far I got. But I did get a lot of emails and even a few letters of people complaining about Tony Esposito not being in the book. So I just thought, okay, these 12 players I've just profiled are very interesting and very accomplished. And then I thought maybe I'll do another book and this time include Tony Esposito. So the one thing that does unite all 24 goalies I've written about is that they very much, march to the beat of their own drummer. And they're all intensely competitive and all supremely confident. Like I remember that anecdote about Patrick Waugh, where he got shelled in a game in Montreal. He was traded to Colorado. He was sent to Colorado. And I think one of his first conversations with the coaching staff there was, your problems are over. I'm going to bring a Stanley Cup to Colorado. And guess what? He did. So that kind of confidence is I've noticed that thread through all the goalies. They're a little different in certain ways, but they all have that incredible confidence.
If you could see, if I had a heart monitor on, my heart is singing as I listen to you. And one time I was in a nightclub in Spokane, Washington at the Memorial Cup, and Tony Esposito was in there, and he had a pocket full of his hockey cards. And he was walking around the bar handing out his hockey cards. I'm like, most people, if they're going to hand out anything, it's business cards.
Yeah.
Tony O is handing out his hockey cards at the Ram in Spokane one night. It's just whatever. That's Tony. So, yeah. But
this is the reason. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead. No.
No, I get excited about goalies and I start speaking over people. I apologize. But I know Tony Esposito, we'll make a great team. After his playing days, he did go into management. And that was one of the compliments he got, is that he always made time for fans and he knew about the appeal of goaltenders, and he never hesitated, to give autographs, to chat with fans. Like, it just never got old for him.
I love it so much. I don't assume you will need a list in front of you, but can you tell our viewers who the 12 are that you profiled in Behind the Mat? Can you?
In the current book.
Yeah.
Can I name them in order? I don't know. It's been a while since I've opened my own book. I can tell you Roger Crozier's in there. Crozier, Grant Fuhr, Rogie Vachon, Jerry Cheevers, and then you get into Marc-Andre Fleury, Roberto Luongo, Henrik Lundqvist, Carey Price. So I feel like there's more contemporary goalies in this book than there was in the last one. And I think that's helpful because this book's more appealing to younger readers.
I love it. Henrik Lundqvist, Mike Palmateer, Vladislav Tretiak, who many feel is the greatest of them all.
Yes. I'd love to talk about Tretiak. He was just,
Let her rip. What do you got about Tretiak, number 20?
Well, for Tretiak, it was a bit of a challenge getting the information I needed because I don't speak Russian, and I don't think he's as comfortable giving interviews in English as people believe. So I did hire a translator who asked him the questions in Russian and translated it back into English for me. So that was really something I'd never experienced before. And also just his stories about what was going on behind the scene, in the dressing room, like little things, like telling me one of his first impressions of North America was that the food was awful and he couldn't eat it. So, no spaghetti and meatballs for him, I guess.
I don't even know what Russians eat, and I don't care. Allie in Texas
a lot of borscht.
Is watching. She says,
a lot of borscht.
I hate that. Tastes like dirt. Allie writes in, she says, I love goalies too. Marty Turco will always be my favorite. Colt, Montreal Alouettes fan, right then. He says, is Jonas Hiller on your 12 best goalies? No, he's not. No. And by the way, you're not profiling the 12 best. You just picked 12. How did you come up with these 12?
Well, this is the thing. I'm glad you made that distinction because some people have slammed me saying, why is Ken Dryden not in this book? The answer is he's in the last one. So it's not the 12 best, it's 12 of the best. So what I did is I took into consideration their statistics, Vezinas, cups, etc., goals against average, save percentage, but then also thought about the personalities, because it's a book that focuses on the personalities. And I made sure that the goalies I picked were household names to a certain extent and also very interesting and accomplished. So there's several factors that went into deciding which goalies I would profile.
I haven't read it yet, and I can already tell you, you've done a great job. I mean, I don't know what it is. I just sit there and I look at photos of the goalies and I just fascinate. Clearly, you're the same.
Well, they're just, yeah, oh, absolutely. And the thing that I find really interesting, and I'd love to write a book about this at some point, is how the position has evolved. If you think about it, back in the day, the best goalies were mostly from Canada, mostly Quebec, actually, at a certain point. And now the best goalies are European. And I think there's an interesting an interesting evolution there, and I'd like to study it and determine how did this come to be? How did the best goaltenders in the world start coming out of Europe?
Trust me, it sticks in many of our craw. Can I just tell you this?
Yes.
I did an event with Eddie Belfour, Grant Fuhr, Martin Brodeur, Bernie Perrant, and Glenn Hall. And Glenn Hall came up and he grabbed the microphone. They're like, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Goalie. Glenn Hall.
Yeah.
He grabs the mic and he looked at the four on the stools. He goes, I forgot how ugly you guys all are. And the place went.
That sounds about right.
Not many could get away with that. Okay. But this is the interview's about you, not me.
I didn't
Randy,
know that.
Where can people get get the book?
Well, normally I say Amazon, but last year at this time when the hardcover came out, it sold out. They kept selling out and not replenishing their supply. And it was around this time, so I was having a bit of a meltdown thinking, all these Christmas shoppers want to buy my book, but can't get it until February. So far so good with Amazon, but it's also Barnes & Noble, for Americans, Indigo for Canadians, and for now, Amazon. So I'm keeping my fingers crossed that it's okay.
Sounds good. Well, I just think you got to be able to hold a book, especially with these photos of the guys. Randy, thank you for the time. Good luck with it, and please keep in touch. Merry Christmas.
Thank you very much. It was a pleasure speaking to you. Merry Christmas.
Same to you. Author Randi Druzin joining us, author of Behind the Mask, her latest offering. We'll be right back with Overtime after this. We're live on the Game Plus television network, live streaming, of course, and podcasts wherever the best podcasts are.
From cash spiels to Grand Slams, club competitions to world championships, there's a lot to keep up with on the pebbled ice. Stay up to date with the Hardline Curling Show, your weekly source for everything curling, with the latest event results, breaking news, interviews with players, executives, and insiders, plus behind-the-scenes access you won't get anywhere else. Follow us on Facebook, X, Instagram, and subscribe to our YouTube. Make sure you don't miss a thing.
We're all capable of doing more. More speed, more reps, more commitment to getting every detail perfect. And that's why it's important we never miss a donation appointment. Blood and plasma donors are needed every day in Canada to support thousands of patients that rely on Canada's lifeline. We're asking you to join the Hockey Gives Blood Partners for Life team. Join today by downloading the Give Blood app or book online at blood.ca/HGB.
Sounds like he knows what he's doing a little bit.
As long as you're entertained. Aren't you entertained?
Welcome to the Create Space at IKS Media. Meetings, podcasts, studio. Whether you're here to collaborate or educate, our versatile meeting places, workspaces, and studios await. Your next big idea starts here. Make our space your space. The Create Space at IKS.
Hi, my name's Logan Stankoven.
And I'm Connor Bedard.
We're both Hockey Gives Blood player ambassadors and proud to be blood donors.
There are thousands of patients each year in Canada that rely on a generous stranger to save their life.
Please book an appointment today to donate blood at blood.ca/HGB.
Text 902-518-3033. 902-518-3033. Pick up your phone and text RP, that's Rod Pedersen. Text 902-518-3033.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
It's Overtime, everybody. Proudly brought to you by our good friends at Overtime Hockey Lanes in Calgary, Alberta, Canada. Canada's hockey town, as far as I'm concerned. 28th Street Northeast is where you'll find Overtime Hockey Lanes. Best place to stop in to kill some time, have fun, work on your game if you want to get serious about it. If you can believe they have one of the old bony puck shooting machines. What they don't have, as they would say. Overtime Hockey Lanes where skill and fun collide. Check them out. Tell Randy and Michelle that the RP show sent you. Loving the interview with Randi Druzin, the author of Behind the Mask. Randy from Winnipeg writes in and he says, as a kid, I used to draw goalies all over my scribblers in school. There are some great goalie poses on 70s hockey cards. Right? Even the photos now just look, man, goalies are special. To the text line, 902-518-3033. Thank you, Ron in Calgary. He writes and he says, another great show, Rod. Go Flames. They're at Nashville tonight. Moose picked the Flames. I picked the Preds. But that's largely because Darren picked the Flames. Scott in Moose Jaw writes and he says, hey, exciting Yorkton Terriers player in 2002 was Trevor Sekundiak. 39. You know him? Goalie turned forward. Yes, I do business with Trevor. And he's running the Kananaskis golf course, as a matter of fact. We call him TSAC. So, yes, I know him very well. Can't get that. Lonnie in Moose Jaw writes, and he says, curious if Darren has any thoughts on the two vacancies in Canada West football. The sucky thing about that is the text came in just as I was saying goodbye to Darren. Well, 2 minutes before. I see this at 1:32 p.m. So I'll try and move that to tomorrow. The Heisman Trophy finalists as college football MVP have been named. Colorado wide receiver cornerback Travis Hunter, Boise State running back Ashton Genty, Oregon quarterback Dylan Gabriel, and Miami quarterback Cam Ward were named Heisman Trophy finalists. The winner will be announced on Saturday. For the first time in 36 seasons, the Cleveland Cavaliers are atop the NBA at the 25-game mark. They're 21-4, even after having come back to earth a bit following a 15-0 start. The Cavs are just one of the surprise stories that have emerged as the season nears the one-third done mark. Orlando's off to its best start in 16 years at 17-9, and having done most of that without all-star forward Paolo Banchero. Houston's 16-8, behind only the Cavs. Boston, Oklahoma City, and Memphis so far in the race for the league's best record. By the way, speaking of Trevor Sekundiak, you know who also does business with him is Overtime Hockey Lanes. It just popped into my mind. Their logo's on the screen. Kananaskis Golf Course took their staff into Overtime Hockey Lanes and had a business party, office party there. Look at what you're learning today. If Juan Soto, get this one, if Juan Soto replicates his 2024 performance throughout his $765 million deal with the Mets, he'll make roughly $1.2 million for every home run he hits if he completes the 15 years on the deal. He's hardly the only superstar athlete earning outrageous sums for each of his accomplishments. Some NFL quarterbacks make more than $3 million per game. Stephen Curry could make roughly $160,000 per three-pointer. And this past regular season, Lionel Messi earned $229 for every second he was on the field with Inter Miami. Remembering, of course, that he missed half the year and was still named league MVP. That's the one thing, as you've noticed, we've really zeroed in on hockey and football for our topics here on the RP show, as far as leagues, NHL, CFL, and NFL. So the soccer, I'm following it. We're not going to talk about it. Somebody was talking here earlier about English Premier League was one of the early leagues that, and that's that case where you used to always say, if it's on, you'll watch it. Not me. Like, not anti-soccer. It's not for me. Big thank you to Jared Dumba. Big thank you to Randi Druzin, the author of Behind the Mask. And most of all, a big thank you to you, plus our wonderful staff. We'll do this all again tomorrow. On behalf of Moose and the crew, we'll see you at noon Eastern tomorrow here on
Let's make some noise!